Hey guys, I'm glad you stopped by. So, since you're here, getting ready to cook dinner, well, we'll start at any rate. It's like noon. And we're gonna do a crock-pot dish. And today we're gonna do a chicken chow mein in a crock-pot. I think that sounds wonderful. Personally, I've never made chow mein before of any kind, let alone in a crock-pot, but I like chow mein. Chicken chow mein's great. My extent of knowledge of chow mein comes from Chow chow mein in a can that my mom used to buy back in the 70s and early 80s. That was something she really liked. And I, as an adult, trying Asian cuisine all the way around, whether it be from a buffet, an actual good restaurant, some of the things we've made here, the canned, chow mein is really kind of, but all the same, the slow cooker recipe has a bunch of stuff that I like, personally, and it leaves it open to a little bit of interpretation. It's got it not only do we have obviously chicken in it, but I'm putting mushrooms in this one where the original recipe didn't call for it. It was down in the comments below the recipe, which I got off of, I don't remember. If I find it again, I'll put it right here because that's what I do. But it's got baby carrots, which I've never used baby carrots in any of my dishes before. So that'll be a fun thing to try. And oddly enough, they only come canned. I would think they would come frozen. But then it's got carrots and onions, and it's got a good soy sauce and some oyster sauce and fresh ginger. I love fresh grated ginger. The smell in and of itself is amazing. And then it's got fresh garlic in it also. So, it's got a lot that, you probably have in your pantry or your fridge, depending on, who you are and where you live. And nothing really unhealthy other than maybe an unhealthy amount of salt, but that's just in the oyster sauce and the soy sauce. It kind of comes with the territory. But it's all fresh vegetables and chicken, which is low in fat. And with everything I got going on right now, I need to get that in check. So, I think we're gonna enjoy this one for sure. If you're new to my channel, this is your first visit to my channel, welcome. I'm glad you stopped by. I hope you get something out of this video. Maybe check out some of the other ones. If you're returning or one of my new subscribers, welcome back and thank you. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share. That helps us out in the algorithm, keeps us moving, keeps us grooving, helps our neighborhood to grow. And that's important, that way we can spread the word through good food and, communication. But, and leave a comment. I respond to all comments. If you take the time to comment, I'm going to take the time to respond every time. All I ever ask is be polite. Think before you type, right? No sense in being rude. It's okay to disagree. Don't get me wrong. Just be thoughtful about it. So, that being said, why don't we head on down here to the counter and we'll go ahead and start this crock-pot dish. All right, hold on for me 1 second. All right, so really easy. It's a whole lot of very little prep and a whole lot of just throw it in the crock pot and go. So the first thing you're gonna need is crock pot. That's pretty much it. But the first thing I did was down here I've got one medium onion that I just gave a nice thinly wedged onion, a good chop. And then I had the original recipe called for one large carrot. I didn't have one large carrot, but I did have carrots. So I had a handful of carrots that I just cut on the bias, just like such. That way you get the really cool looking, orange, of course it's orange, just a carrot, but the really cool shaped carrots sliced. Let me shut this drape real quick, or this curtain real quick. If you are new to my channel, you are literally standing right in front of the back door and the back window. This is my whole kitchen. You've seen it all now, and a bit of the dining room. Not very big, but I went ahead and I gave my onion a good chopping, gave me some wedges, thin sliced wedges, some carrot slices cut on a bias, and then I have got some diced mushrooms. Now I'm using portabella. You can use button mushrooms if you can find a good shiitake mushroom. You can take that and dice it up. If you can find them small, you don't have to. But either way it goes, mushroom of your choice. obviously. So the first thing we're gonna do is we're gonna take 2 cups, 480 milliliters of chicken broth, and we're gonna go ahead and put that in our crock pot. We're gonna make our sauce real quick. And then to that, we are going to add 4 tablespoons, 60 milliliters of soy sauce. And then I have got 4 tablespoons, 60 milliliters of oyster sauce. You know, and oyster sauce, in my mind, it's great. It adds so much to your dish. But if you're not careful, a little can go a long way. But this is all equal parts. So it's, you know, 4 tablespoons of soy sauce, 4 tablespoons of oyster sauce, 4 tablespoons, 60 milliliters of all 3 of sesame oil. So we've got our chicken broth, sesame oil, oyster sauce, and our soy sauce. And then to that, I'm going to add 2 teaspoons of garlic, minced garlic. Now, if you don't want to use fresh garlic and you just want to use garlic powder or granules, just use 1 teaspoon. Which is what the recipe actually called for, was 1 teaspoon of garlic powder. But I wanted to use fresh garlic, so I'm doubling the amount because it's fresh. And I'll go ahead and get that in there. And then I am going to put in 2 teaspoons of grated garlic or grated ginger to go with that also. Best smell in the whole wide world, in my opinion. So we get that in there. And then I have to go grab the chicken now that I have room to put it on here, and we can finish putting the last few ingredients in here. Okay, so I went ahead, I got this all stirred together. Didn't take much really. Got my chicken, and I'm using 2 pounds of boneless chicken thighs. All right, and they're boneless, skinless thighs. That way I didn't have to fuss with tearing the bones out, getting the thighs or the skin off of them. It's a lot of work, in my opinion. So if I have to, I will. If I don't have to, I'm not gonna. So anyhow, we're gonna go ahead and take our chicken thighs, and we're gonna go ahead and stick those in as soon as I get my spoon out of there. And we can go ahead and get these in. And then we'll go ahead and I've got my 8 ounces of sliced mushroom. And like I said, I'm using portabella, but you can use whatever mushroom you like. Portabello, button, shiitake if you can find them in your grocery store. We struggle to get some things like that around here. Unfortunately, it's kind of seems to be part of small town living, is the variety of foods you can pick up at your grocery store, because there's just not a high demand for some stuff like that. But that's all right. We'll make do with what we can. And then the last thing I'm going to add to this is our 1 large carrot cut on the bias, and our thinly sliced wedges of onion. Get those in there. Go ahead and get them wet with the sauce, just like such. Now, things I did adjust on this recipe were all things that came from the comments. So everybody in the comments said double the sauce. So we actually doubled the sauce. And a handful of the people in the comments said they added mushroom, right? So we added mushroom. I like mushrooms. You know, why not add them? So if you don't like mushrooms, you don't have to add them. I mean, you don't have to add anything to a dish that you don't like. I mean, obviously. But trying things is a good thing, right? You know, you should always try something new all the time. I know I do. My mom made us do that. They say that making your kids eat what you cook, so to speak, it is mean, but in a way it's not. You know, my mom never cooked anything special for us that, you know, different. She cooked what she could afford, and she cooked what went on the table, and we ate it. If we didn't like what was made that night, we just didn't eat. But in the long run, it taught us to try new things. You know, not to be scared to try new things. And at first it was like, oh, and I even remember the vegetable that I tried that got me to start trying everything she made. And it was cream of corn. I sat at the table for 2 hours and let that stuff get cold before I tried it and realized it was really good. So, you know, it doesn't ever hurt to try something new and different. I guess is what I'm getting at. All right, so anyhow, we got all that in there. We got it ready to go. So what we're gonna do now is stick the lid on our crock pot. Maybe, if I can get it on there evenly. Oh. And we'll go ahead and kick it on low. And we're gonna let this go for 5 hours. So when I come back, we'll be right at the 5-hour mark. And we've got a couple more little things to do real quick. So this would be like I put this part on. Now I'm gonna go do, I'm gonna go do my chores for the day. Hit the grocery store, get a couple things. And then when I come back, we can finish the last couple steps, put it all together, and give it a try. All right, I'll see you here in 1 second. Okay, so our 5 hours have been up. Next things we gotta do. Nothing's quick, nothing's gonna be hard. Yeah, we've got about 15 minutes left total. But first thing we wanna do is we're gonna take our lid off, right? Because we're gonna get our chicken out of there and we're gonna break it up. We're gonna shred it up, right? Yeah, it doesn't have to be perfect, but we wanna try and find it and get it out of there and get it broke up. So we'll go ahead and get our chicken out of here. All right, so we got our chicken out of the crock there, although I really swear it looks like I'm missing chicken, but I'm not. I mean, obviously it's been just me and you all day unless you got in the crock pot, but I won't tell if you did. So next thing we need to do is I've got 3 teaspoons, 12 grams of cornstarch right here, and I'm just gonna get some lukewarm tap water, nothing fancy, about 3 tablespoons worth, and we're gonna go ahead and get that stirred up real good. One thing you really never want to do with cornstarch is pour it directly into the pot. It clumps, you know, there's no good way to stir it up. But we want to thicken that up and make it a really good sauce and not the thin sauce it is now. So got that. We'll go ahead and get that poured in like such. Grab a spatula. And I tell you, if you're new to my channel or have just been around for a while but haven't heard this story, I've only told it a couple times, but this spatula right here, it's a Christmas spatula, and I've had it for like 20 years, easy 20 years. And it's one of my favorite spatulas. I have no idea why. It was like some cheap gift me and Chris got, back when we first got together. I don't even know who from, but it's just awesome. So we got that stirred in. I don't know why that stupid spatula makes me so happy, but it does. We're gonna go ahead and get our now soapy topped lid back right here. And I don't know if you can see beside me, but I've got water boiling. I started that just right before we got back together and came back from our little break. And we want it boiling because we gotta do some noodles up. Now you don't have to have noodles with this. You could have rice, or whatever you like, but we're having noodles. And because it was part of the recipe, B, it was it's just something we like. So I'm gonna go ahead and break this chicken up real quick. That way it's it's not like shredded. You don't want it like it just came out of the can, but you want it shredded. All right, we got our cornstarch is in our broth. I went ahead and kicked that on to high, and we're gonna let this go for about 15 minutes. I got the chicken is shredded, so let's go ahead and set that to the side for right now. Now I'm gonna move over to my noodles. Now, I'm using egg noodles. They called for egg noodles, but I didn't have any like Asian style egg noodles. What I did have was Amish style thin egg noodles, and they're me and Chris's favorite, so that's what we're gonna use. That's what we like, right? Cooking is versatile. If you have it, that's great, but if you don't, it's okay too. There's always an alternative. So we're gonna go ahead, I'm gonna get these put in the boiling water. Now these take about 12 minutes to cook, which will coincide nicely with the 15 minutes this has got to go because it's already been going. So I'll go ahead and get these in, and I'm gonna set my timer for them, right, like such. Get that started. When I get down to the last minute on these, I am going to add, that was 16 ounces of noodles, if you're keeping track, or a pound of noodles. But I am going to add this bag of snow peas right here that I got marked down because everybody else eats snow peas. which is fine. Not that they were expensive to begin with, but it is about 2.5 cups worth of snow peas, or 8 ounces. It's 8 ounces of snow peas that I am going to put in this water with my noodles on the last minute. All right, so been about 12 minutes, 13 minutes. It's still not quite as thick as I like. That's all right, because we gotta let it go for just a couple more minutes as we put it all together. So now that we've let this go, our noodles are done with our snow peas in them. Boom, right there. And our chicken is shredded right there. And I've got 1 can of, like I said, the baby corn. I can't believe that you can't buy that frozen. At least not around here, you can't. And I didn't look online. I'm not a fan of shopping online for food. But we're gonna go ahead and get our chicken back in here. Just like that, along with the few vegetables that came out with it. You know, oddly enough, that corn did not get mushy. And I was worried about vegetables getting mushy, because if you cut them too thin, they get mushy. If you cut them too thick, then they may stay too crunchy. When I did those, right around 1/8 of an inch thick, and they did not get mushy. They are just that right combination of soft with a little bit of crunch in it, and that's good. So we got our chicken in there. Now we're gonna go ahead and get our can of baby corn in there, and I drained it. I didn't leave the water in that's with it. That way you didn't have all that sweetness and all that overbearing corn flavor. There were a few people in the comments for the recipe that were talking about how overbearing the corn flavor was, and it made me wonder, because I mean, that looks fairly well balanced, if they didn't drain the water off the corn first, because that's nothing but corn juice and sweetness. So that might have been their issue, but I don't know. All right, so we go ahead and get our peas and our noodles in here. Now you could just as easily do rice with this. You know, just make some rice and put this over top of the rice. And with the snow peas, you could add that into this when you add the cornstarch, and that will help cook that through. And I will say, this looks just like the picture of the recipe. That makes me kind of happy. And it smells wonderful. Even Chris said it smelled fantastic. So we'll see. You know, the fact that it looks good and it smells good is means we're 2/3 of the way there, right? All right, well, let this sit and simmer for about 5 minutes. When I come back, we'll try some. All right, what do you say? All right, it is time. Let's go ahead and get this served and see what kind of disaster we created. Is it beautiful or is it a disaster? Like I said, it smells good and it looks good. So we're 2/3 of the way there. You know, you can at least get a crappy meal to the table if it looks good, right? And it smells good, but nobody's gonna eat it after the first bite. So it's probably important that you have it taste good too. But there we are, right there. I think that's just absolutely gorgeous in and of itself. It's got a nice little, not a lot of color, but the colors that are there are balanced. I do wish the corn was a little darker yellow, but it came out of the can a light yellow. So, I mean, that is what it is. And I gotta tell you, this bad boy's blazing hot. That's all right though, we're gonna make it happen, right? We're gonna make dreams come true right here and now. Ooh, I'm excited. That is really good. I mean, really good. It's not, I guess the best way to describe it is it's not heavy. It is very flavorful, but very light. And that's good. I mean, that's really good. Give this a try. this is enough easily for, 6 people. Or leftovers. How many of you guys eat leftovers? And I direct that more towards the younger crowd, because I know I eat leftovers all the time, and most people my age and older do. But I'd be curious to know how many of you do eat leftovers, or how many of you make meals that are going to last 2-3 days. Do you have a leftover day? Things like that. But let me know down in the comments if you made it this far. But give this a try. You'll like this. I guarantee you, that's really good. Like I said, it's got tons of flavor. It tastes like chow mein. A way better version than the canned stuff that they used to make back in the day. But it's just got a really nice light flavor. And I can tell you, it's going to be filling. The vegetables are good. The noodles are good with that, even though they're not even a traditional Asian noodle. That's still really good. And those were a lot easier to find than, say, an Asian noodle in our town. I have a gripe against that in our town, by the way. If you couldn't tell by this video, I hate the fact that we're limited. But that's a different topic for a different time. Let me know if you do give this a try. Leave me a comment about that down below too. Or find us on Facebook, Mr. Smith's Kitchen Facebook group, where you can just find me. My name is Brian Smith, and it's a picture of me. Hands down. I've got 3 different things going on Facebook and Instagram. So, find us over there. Leave a comment. Let us know. It doesn't get a lot of business from flow traffic over there, but some. It'd be nice if we got a little more, maybe. But tomorrow, for dessert, we are going to do a tiramisu cheesecake. It is a no-bake cheesecake. It is an eggless cheesecake. I had a conversation with one of our neighbors here on the channel, and they have somebody in their group that can't really eat eggs, and they have been using egg substitutes to make many of the desserts on this channel, plus just desserts in general. And they wanted to know if I had something or could find something that was a decadent dessert that didn't involve an egg. And I did. A tiramisu cheesecake. It is a no-bake, so you won't heat up your kitchen, and I think it's going to be delightful. I say I think because I still haven't tried it yet, even though if you saw the video yesterday, you know that I've been working on it. So I have yet to try it, so I don't know yet. But we'll find out together tomorrow, right? Until tomorrow for dessert, so I'm gonna get this over here so me and Chris, and maybe Abby might try it, can eat some dinner. I love you. I love you very much, and I mean that from the bottom of my heart. Tell somebody else that you love them and love them very much. They may need to hear it. It's gonna make them smile either way. It's gonna make you smile. Probably both of you will feel just great to hear it. And you invite them over, give them some of this chicken chow mein with the noodles. It's going to lead to hours of conversation, full bellies, bigger smiles, and there's enough there. You can invite the neighbors over, maybe a friend you haven't talked to in a long time, the family with the child walking down the street, meet a neighbor, invite them over for dinner, and the possibilities are just endless on the people you can meet in your neighborhood. That was probably the one thing I remember from Sesame Street that I think we lose nowadays, are who are the people in your neighborhood. I think that's important. You never know when they may need you or you might need them. But anyhow, till tomorrow for dessert, I love you, and I'll see you then. All right, see you later. Bye-bye.